How's it going, guys? We're back at it again with another journey to becoming a professional footballer, episode 2. And what I want to do for today is kind of walk you guys through exactly what's going to be part of his action plan, how I interpret the data, and how that plays a part in my decision making to what exercises we're going to do, the duration of the exercise, the intensity of the exercise, all that. So Isak has a session in about an hour and a half. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go back into the fitness program where it tracks all of his data, and I'm just going to take a look at the previous session, which was 2 days ago, just to see what I need to change for this next one. I already have the exercise written up based on the things that he wants to work on, but I want to look at the data to see how I might change the duration, the intensity, and how much rest he gets in between each exercise. There's nothing fancy here. I'm just looking basically at his heart rate, where it's at for the whole session, and I'm also looking at his speed levels, and obviously his heart rate. We're gonna see if we can increase it just a little bit. As you can see, his average around here, we're gonna see if we can bump that up just a little bit. His average heart rate was 128. We're gonna see if we can bump that up maybe to 138, somewhere around there. The distance, he's gonna cover a little bit more in distance in this one because the last one there was very little movement. So now that I've taken a look at his prior session, I'm gonna go out, tweak a few of the exercises that I already have, and then when we come back from the exercise, I'm gonna walk you through the questionnaire that he fills out, which just gives me a little bit more of background information on how he's feeling, how his sleep was, how he felt the session went, all that. So let's go to the field. Alright, so we're out on the field now. Isak's here. He's about to start getting warmed up. I've set up the field, as you can see. For coaches, quick little coaching point. Come out here early, get all your stuff set up before the player gets here. A lot of this stuff you don't actually need. This is a lot of fancy stuff that I just do it to look pretty. You can do all of these exercises with very, very minimal setup. The reason why I put all these fancy cones and all that, the wall, all the balls nice and set up there, is mostly because it's a mental thing for the player. When the player comes out here, if he sees everything set up, ready to go, the balls are in their place, it gives that professional aspect of it where they look at it and they say, okay, I'm training at a high level, the field is set up just for me. They're gonna be pretty psyched and pretty ready to go. I will run you through the session in a different video. So every session that we do, I'm gonna put it in a different video where it's just a training session so you can see exactly what we did that day. But I'll do like a quick little shortened version just for the series. Isak's here, so I think we're ready to go, mate. Cue the drone footage in 3, 2, 1. Don't stop. One. Wow. All right, good session?
Very good.
Good session. All right, so, dang, Coach Javi, what are you doing, mate? All right, today's end of session competition is going to be javelin throw. Where are we throwing it from?
Should we just throw from Go back here and then throw against the goal.
All right, I'm in. One shot each, that's it?
Yeah.
All right. Disqualified if it doesn't land on its on the thing. Disqualified. This has nothing to do with football, mate.
But it moves in the bottom.
Yeah, it's flexi. It's next level.
Trying to cheat, he didn't tell me.
Trying to cheat, this is what the Russians do.
Usually it's like people cheering and stuff.
I'll put some sound effects.
But it's down in the ground.
Alright, here you go.
Composure.
No! Mate, nobody beats me in the javelin throw. I'll be honest. You know how many individual sessions I've had with these poles? Hey, what do you think I do after every single one, mate?
Thanks for telling me before.
Alright. Alright, so we're back in the office, and what I want to show you guys now is the questionnaire that I have Isak fill out after every session, and just kind of how that plays a part in my setup of the training exercises, of the training sessions, and all of that. So what Isak does is after every single training session that we have, he goes in and he does this, he fills it out, and it comes back to me with all the information. So first question, type of session, so was it in the morning, early afternoon, or evening, the date, the duration, and this is the interesting stuff right here. So the intensity level as he felt it was. So this was a medium intensity session, so it's good we're on the same page. His sleep prior to the session, that's very important because this can play a very big part in how he performs and how I might need to alter the session. So if he hasn't gotten enough hours of sleep, then the session's probably not going to be as productive. So he said it was restful the night before. His stress level, so he filled that out as a 2, which means his mind is clear, he's focused, he's ready to go. And his fatigue level after the session. So if it was a medium intensity session, then a 5 is accurate. If his fatigue level after the session would have been a 10, then I might need to change things up a little bit. And his current soreness, and he put that as a 6. So you have to bear in mind that he's not only training with me, but he's also training with the men's team, and he goes out and he does his own workouts, cardio, a lot of extra sessions on his own as well. So that all plays a part in how he fills out this questionnaire. Lastly, I just leave it open for comments. So Isak wrote, good workout, not too hard. On the lighter sessions, like on Monday, I would like to do more of the first technical drills and longer duration on them, like the one we did on the first one today, just more repetition and a couple of more exercises like that. The finishing exercise is good repetitions and duration concerning groins and etc. So I would like to keep those as they are now. Good. It's very, very important that if there's anything on his mind that might need to be changed, he needs to let me know. After all, this is a program built specifically for him. And I have to keep in mind some of his past history as well. He's had quite a few injuries with his groin, so when we do shooting exercises, I have to make sure I keep that into account so that I don't overdo it and then he ends up injuring his groin, which is something that's kind of been bothering him. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into the workout, check out all the data, and see how it went. So if you look here, this is his calendar of all his workouts. So here we have the session that he did with me, and then we have 2 more sessions that he did later that day. So I have to look at these to take that into account for how I plan his sessions. So we're gonna look at the session that he did with me just to see if we kind of hit the targets that we were looking to hit. Okay, so I have both sessions here side by side. So this was the session that he did before this, the very first session that we did, and his average heart rate was 128 beats per minute, and today's session was 137. So I did say we were trying to get it to somewhere around 138, so 137 is Coach Javi knows what he's doing, mate. So if you look at this session right away, you can see his heart rate was a little bit higher. Not only that, but because we increased the activity time and then decreased the rest time, you see that's why it goes up and down a little bit quicker than the first session does. See, the first session is a little bit more spread out, and this one it goes higher and then it comes down, and then it goes higher and then it comes down. In the first session he covered 2.08 kilometers, and in this session he covered 2.43 kilometers. Now what I want you to see here is look at the duration of the sessions. The first session actually lasted longer than the second session. So even though the second session, the one that we just did, was a medium intensity session, so it was a higher intensity, what we did in order for it not to go longer was we just decreased the rest time and we increased the activity time. So things moved along a little bit quicker than the first session did. So it was actually shorter, but it was at a higher intensity, which is what we wanted to achieve. And obviously his distance was a little bit further because there was a lot more movement in the session. It wasn't as static as the first ones. Now looking at this data, now that I know that we've hit the target, the session went exactly how it needed to go. And now, as we move on to future sessions, I can analyze these trends so I can push the exercises little by little so he's starting to get to that match fitness and to that optimal fitness level where he wants to be. So I hope you guys are liking the series so far. If there's anything specific that you want me to talk about, make sure you comment that down below. For the next episode, we're gonna once again walk you through the training session, but I also wanna fill you in on what his pre-session questionnaire looks like. So I showed you the questionnaire that he fills out after the session, and then in the next one, I'll show you the questionnaire that he fills out before the session, just to give me a little bit more information right before we start the session. That's it for this one, guys. Until next time, and adios, muchachos.
Is it on? If it did, I did like a transformation where you drop it and you're like... That was me.